Hello and welcome. I'm Weiser Cornell, and this is Support for Stressful Times. And it's a webinar we do just about every month. We do, because I do it with you. That's about being a support to yourself through stressful times and being a community of support to each other. Times are still stressful. We started this webinar in March 2020. You remember how stressful it was right around that time. And since then, although things with the pandemic situation have evolved, there are other stressful things that are going on in the world, wars and stuff like that. And in your lives, right? So times of transition, times of uncertainty, times of lack of clarity. How do we survive those things? Well, my topic for today is finding hope in the dark places. So let's talk about hope. I have a point of view about hope. I don't think that hope is necessarily being optimistic. I think hope has to do with being open to the possibility that things could get better. Daniel says, hello from Sudbury, Ontario. Brr. That's right. Several people are here from Quebec. I'm sorry you're feeling cold there. Yeah. Hope. Hope in the dark places. Here in the Northern Hemisphere, it gets dark earlier and earlier. And I don't know about you, but I have a reaction to the sun going down earlier and earlier and rising later and later in the morning. I feel just a little bit more down. I think that's called seasonal affective disorder. Well, I don't think it's extreme enough to call it a disorder, but it's a feeling like, I wish there was more light around here. I miss the light. Maybe you're like that. Maybe you're enjoying the darkness, sort of cuddling up in it. It's all good. But let's take a little time to practice awareness of our emotional states, our feelings, and what's going on in us, and how to be gentle and accepting toward what's here. And also this funny thing I'm calling hope, which is a kind of openness about the outcome. It's my definition of hope. So, yeah, and how would we do that? Well, anytime, including right now, you can pause. Pausing is the first step. Take a moment. Join me now if you'd like to. Take a moment to bring awareness to your body. And if you're like me, back in the days when I first learned how to do this process, more than 50 years ago, I hardly knew I had a body. If someone said to me, feel your body, I'm like, what? How do I do that? I have a lot of sympathy for people who are saying, body? What body? Well, I recognize many of you here already know how to feel your body. Let's do it together right now. What I like is to feel my feet. And if I'm really out of touch and I'm not feeling my feet very much, I wiggle my toes. Then my feet show up. Oh yeah, there's my feet. And then I feel my body supported, resting on what I'm sitting on. And one thing you see going on is I'm not just talk. I'm pausing in between the things I say. And that's not just to allow you time to do it, it's also to allow me time to do it. I need to pause, I need to feel, take time to sense. We're including the body because, well, there's so many reasons to include the body. Your body has how you are in this present moment. We could be imagining all the ways we might be feeling, and we might be having all kinds of ways we wish we were feeling. But the way into the next steps of life is through how we actually are feeling. And that's why we want to pause and get that. How am I right now? It's interesting. When I asked myself that question, a deeper breath came. I feel like my body likes it when I pause and sense, how am I right now? It's going for you. Does your body like it? So how am I right now? And, you know, the typical way to answer the question, how are you, is with, I'm good, or fine, or not bad. But if you really want to know how someone is, you ask again. Yes, so how are you? And so we're asking the body how it really is, not just fine, but how am I? How am I here, sitting in this moment? You might be sitting or standing or lying down, but however it is, how is it? How is it to be you in this moment? And the interesting thing is that will be more than just a single word, probably. Like tired or stressed. I mean, sure, that might come. But I suspect once you carry that first word back inside, you'll feel there's more than that. How am I? How am I right now? Let's take a moment, pausing and connecting, sensing how you are right now. And it doesn't have to be a single way. It could be complex. Okay, so what's coming for me is good, like smooth. Yes, smooth, and a little uneasy. And there's like these open loops, like I wrote a letter to someone, maybe raised some difficult issues, haven't heard back how that letter landed. So it's a little, I can feel there's a little uneasy here about that. Now, what am I going to do with my little uneasy? Here's what I suggest you do. If what you're feeling has some kind of stress or trouble in it, if it's not just all happy and smooth. Well, first of all, we can use the language of something in me. I'm sensing something in me feels that way. And notice what difference that makes. And then next, I'm saying hello to that. And when I just did that just now, I felt more spaciousness. Like that's still here, but there's more of me around it. So that's how the conversation begins, with you and these inner places in you, and how you can already be accessing your calm, your strength, your presence, just by saying hello, I'm with you. to the feelings that you're having just by saying that something in me feels. Well, now let's see how we bring in hope. Because I've been doing some thinking about hope. And if there's a big event coming in the future, and we don't know which way it's going to go, maybe it's, for example, an election. Maybe we read the polls and watch the talking heads and see what they think. Or maybe we turn the news off and try not to notice, just as an example. And maybe something in us says, oh, it's going to be all right. That happens to me because of the family I grew up in. That was the style I learned from them. It's going to be all right. Look on the bright side. Or maybe we have the opposite characteristic reaction. It's going to be terrible. The worst outcome will happen. But I don't think either one of those is what I would call hope. Because they're either the future is going to be wonderful or the future is going to be terrible. It's some kind of state of certainty about the future. And the fact is, the future is uncertain. We're creating it. It's happening. It's getting created. Whether any one of us has much to do with that, I don't know. But our job is to stay present to ourselves, stay alert, pay attention, and look for what is needed that's possible for us to do. And to do that, it's probably best to stay close to the truth, which is, I don't know. The United States election turned out a certain way. Some part of me wants to be sure that's going to be really, really terrible for the whole world. I don't know. I want to stay alert, pay attention, be ready to respond in ways that are helpful. But there's some kind of I don't know that's got a spacious quality to it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Let's take a look. So I'm wondering about you. Are there things that you are certain will be terrible? I recently taught a course on aging. And I'm aware that there are a number of people who are aware of their own aging. Like we're all aging, right? But when you become aware of your own aging, and then there's an assumption that that will be terrible, that life will get worse and worse. And do we know that for sure? Notice, are there places where you're assuming things will get worse or be terrible or be bad? And do we know that? Now, I want to treat with great respect the fact that sometimes things just are terrible. Some of us are grieving losses or have really hard things happening physically. Serious illness. But even with illness, right? You don't know how it's going to turn out. How is this landing with you? Do people want to write some things to me in the chat? To all of us in the chat? Yeah. Andrea writes, something in me feels fresh, like being in the ocean. Ooh, I like that quality of fresh. That's so nice. And yeah, sounds lovely. Thanks for sharing that. I don't know. We'll see. How many times has life surprised you and not gone the way you thought? One of my teaching experiences was when I got hit by a car walking in my neighborhood, broke my pelvis. It broke my pelvis. My pelvis broke in two places. And I had a hard year recovering from that. And some people actually said to me, maybe you'll never completely recover, which I must say, something in me did not find very helpful. But maybe I'm sure they had the best of intentions in saying that. Perhaps they wanted to help me adjust to the possibility that I might not completely recover. I have completely recovered, but I didn't know. That's the point. I didn't know. I kept behaving in ways that would benefit my body. I kept listening to my body during the year I mainly was in the recovery process. After that, I wasn't very uncomfortable. And then eventually it was all okay. I kept listening to my body, kept asking it what it would like. And there kept being new answers. I was in physical therapy. My physical therapist said she's done with me. There's nothing more I need from her. But my body didn't feel finished. So I'm asking again. I was asking again. And what an amazing experience. That something so serious, it happened when I was 64, you would think. The assumption, right? A 64-year-old person has difficulty recovering from an injury like that. I don't know. We'll see. People are writing in the chat. Sue says encouraged. Julie says very comforting, coming back to the present moment. Oh, yes. In the present moment, there is comfort. I'm so glad to hear that. Gwendolyn writes, something in me is seeking community beyond the reach of what's happened with this election. Good, good. That's so nice. Lily writes, when I was young, I did believe getting old would be all downhill. And now that I'm 71, I'm wonderfully surprised that my life seems to be opening up in ways I never could have imagined. And I'm aware that inner relationship focusing has been the source of this opening up. Thank you for sharing that. Grace writes, maybe it is terrible. Maybe we do know we're going to die, or our body is breaking down, or terrible political things are already happening. But pause. What don't I know? Perhaps the hope is in what I don't know yet. Like there may be a lot I do know, but what about what I don't know yet? Oh, I love that, Grace. Yeah. Yeah. We want to have clear eyes about whatever's happening now, including terrible things. And yet, what happens is a part of us can seize onto thoughts about doom in the future. And it's odd that it seems to want to do that. Sometimes I think there's a part of us that feels we'll be safer if we imagine the worst that can happen and assume that will happen. But we won't know for sure unless we talk to that part that does that and say, hello, I'm just wondering about these thoughts of doom. Is there something you're hoping that'll help with? Because as the distinction Grace is making is there's a difference between what we know for sure is happening now. Very hard things are happening in the world right now, as far as I can tell from the news, and what hasn't happened yet and what we don't know. Yeah. Liz writes, I don't know seems hopeful to me as it's open to any possibility. Yes. Yeah, that's what I mean. Exactly. I don't know. We'll see. There's a movie, really in many ways, my favorite movie, Shakespeare in Love. And there's a character in that movie, not a very admirable character, but one thing that happens is very often in the movie, someone asks this guy, how's it going to work out? How's it ever going to be good? And he says, I don't know. It's a mystery. And that's it. I don't know. It's a mystery. Yeah. Right. 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 Very nice. So here we are together, just pausing in this community, in this group of people, and each of you sensing your own felt body at this moment. And what we can say is that your body has lots of hope in it. Well, you are breathing. I suspect you're warm enough and well fed. Hope so. You're alive. Your body hasn't given up. It's taking its next steps. And connecting in with that right now. Connecting in with here I am, supported. Maybe you have pain right now, or discomfort, or stressful feelings in your body. But that doesn't mean your body's trying to hurt you. Your body is actually suffering with you. It too is going through that pain. And it wouldn't be good if you never felt pain. There's some people who have that condition of not feeling pain, and that's not good. So if you are feeling something like pain, discomfort, or distress in your body, here's my tip. Be gentle. Be gentle with that. Treat that like something you love. Is there pain? Is there pain? Is something in you in pain? Be gentle with that. As gentle as you might be with someone you love. I hope you do. Love yourself. Your body is on your side. You are your body. And here you are, taking each breath, living, and here we are together, taking this opportunity together to pause and sense what's here right now, all the things we do know, and what we can know for sure. I am here. I am breathing. My body feels this way right now. Emotions are interesting because emotions are always in motion. So if you're feeling some emotion like worry, anxiety, sadness, take it seriously. It's okay that it's there. Let it know it can stay there as long as it needs to because it's important. And you know that that's the way it feels right now, and it won't always feel that way. It's on its way. It's on its way to something else. Here it is now, and one thing we don't know is how long it'll be this way. We can add the words right now to whatever we're aware of. My stomach is tight right now. My heart is heavy and sad right now. Takes it seriously, doesn't try to say it isn't true, doesn't try to change it, but also holds open that hopeful possibility that there's something next. And one thing I learned from my mentor and teacher, Eugene Gendlin, is that when you are alive, there's always something next. We can just watch our breath, and we can feel that. When you inhale, there's going to be an exhale next. There's always something next. And we don't always know what it is. I guess we're pretty sure if there's an inhale, there'll be an exhale next. But what kind of exhale will it be? Now maybe it'll be a deep exhale. Maybe it'll be a shallow exhale. Daniel writes, this view of hope dovetails nicely with my development with focusing. I used to be swamped with negative, awful outcomes to what's next, a real get together for many, oh, this will be terrible parts. And now with focusing, I find myself in a better frame, able to greet those OMGs with curiosity, but able to stay open to good, calm possibilities and hope. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, Daniel. Very nice. Very nice. And thanks to David for putting in the chat a recommendation to my latest book, written with Barbara McGavin, Untangling, How You Can Transform What's Impossibly Stuck. It's been lovely to be with you today. So glad you came. Hope to see you next month. I do this usually the third Wednesday of every month, but we're skipping January. Remember, your body's on your side. Your body's your friend. Everything inside you is trying to help you. And it's a good idea to be gentle and kind to all of your feelings. They're all here for a good reason and on their way to something else. Oh, who's the little mouse? Yeah, this is one of my many friends. I love stuffed animals because this is somebody who always loves you. If you want a dose of love, just look into its eyes. Oh, I have so many of them over here on my side, and the closets are full of them. Just love these. All right, sweeties, take care. Have a beautiful day. Pause, be with yourself. Bye for now. And yeah, happy holidays, whatever you're celebrating this month. Bye bye.